Hello everyone, welcome to another training tutorial which is going to comprise bit of Selenium, bit of Selenium and bit of Java. So let's see what we are going to have a look at this session. We would see how we can deal with a form having many fields, how to not write bloated data objects. Data objects is nothing but a sort of class which contains lots of parameters describing different fields in a form, and then how we can use builder pattern to make it better. So let's get started. So I created a small sample page on my blog here, which contains lots of fields. As you see, it has first name, last name, username, address, phone number, password, and so on. We all have come across such fields in different pages which we might test. And how we end up writing this is something like this. So I have a big user one class here which has all of these objects from first name, last name, phone till confirm password. And then there are a couple of setters, and I could also define a couple of getters. I have not. Let me declare those as well. Let me generate getters, yeah, for all of these fields. Yes, so it has set of getters and setters, and this is the big object which could be instantiated using the constructor here, which takes all of the parameters from first name, last name till confirm password, and then we are setting all of these values. Now you can see how bloated, how big, how laborious it is to work with this constructor. For example, if I open the Selenium test here, we would end up writing something like this. So this is a test wherein we are not using the builder pattern. So if we have to use a new object for data object to be able to deal with this registration page here, we would end up doing something like this: big user one, big user equal to new big user one, and then define all of the parameters here, all of the test data sets here. I have declared them as first name, last name, and so on for sake of simplicity. But while testing, we will come across different data sets, which means different names, different addresses, different phone numbers. And in this example, specifically, everything is a string. So it's going to make it a bit difficult to understand which fields represents what. For example, it may happen that you end up writing address 2 here and address 1 here, but there would be no error from the compiler because both are a string, and eventually you may end up writing a wrong test which would hide some application defects. Now we have seen how laborious, how error prone this process of creating object in this manner is. So let's see what we can do to make it better. Yeah, so let's see what is builder pattern now. So builder pattern is a way to instantiate a class in such scenarios when we have lots of parameters to deal with. So I have one more class here called big user 2, and I'm not instantiating a big constructor here, but what I have done is I have used builder pattern here, and that is, in builder pattern, what we do, we create a static class with the name builder. You can pick whatever name you want, it should not matter, but it's just a convention. And this uh, static class is going to contain the same arguments what we have on the main class, and then there are a couple of methods to set these values. For example, first name is set on the builder class as first name. It takes the parameter first name, and then this is set here for the builder parameter first name. In the similar way, we have last name method to set the last name, username, and so on so forth. Now what we do here is we declare a method called build in the end for the builder static class here. And what this method does is, this method is going to build the object for this big user 2 class for us using all of the attributes which we have on the builder object here. So the build method is going to invoke a constructor for big user 2. Now let's compare this with the big user 1, which is right here. So big user constructor is a public constructor here, but in case of big user 2, it's a private constructor here. As you can see, it's defined as private big user 2, and it takes object of type builder. And now, using all of the attributes which we collected on the builder class, we can initialize the parameters of big user 1. So looks like I made a mistake here, but it should be I can just remove this. I duplicated the parameter name. So the first name of the big user 2 is now being instantiated using the builder first name, which we collected right here using this method. So in the similar way, username, last name, address 1, address 2, all of the parameters of big user 2 class are being set using the builder object. Now let's see how this is used in the Selenium test and how does it make it look better. So I have a different class here called builder with builder pattern, and instead of instantiating the user object directly, what we do here is we say new big user 2, which is right here, and then we call the builder on this class. And as you can see, that builder is a static class, so we can directly call it using the class name. And we can anyways not instantiate this because we have declared the big user 2 object constructor as private. So for example, if I try to do this, you will see an error here. Yeah, it says it has private access. Anyways, so we do new big user 2 dot builder, and then we start calling all of those methods which we created in the builder class. So we had methods like first name, last name, username, and so on. And now we can pass those corresponding test data sets here. So first name is whichever name we want to pass, address 1 is whichever address we want to pass. Now because of this naming and this sort of method structure, it becomes very easy to understand which parameter stands for what. So we know that in first name we could pass only first name and not say phone number and so on. Let's compare this again with what we have seen before with without builder pattern. So in case of without builder pattern, we passed all of the parameters in one big constructor, and it's really error prone and makes it very difficult to understand which parameter stands for what. I have given the same name here, so it's easy, but let's assume if you had address 1 as somewhere in New York and address 2 somewhere in South Africa, and if you mix those two addresses, you will never figure out using this constructor if something has gone wrong. But in comparison here, the method names are very obvious, and first name is for first name, last name stands for last name, and so on. And then what we can do is we can invoke driver object or page objects which we have created and carry out the operation as usual on this object which is created using the builder pattern. So you see um, how easy and how comprehensible it is to use the builder pattern instead of using big class object. Let's see, anything else left for this session? No, that was all for this session. Quite small, and I hope you find it useful. And if you do, then please give it a thumbs up. As usual, I'm going to submit all of this code to my GitHub account, so you can download it from there and try it yourself. And I would post the link on the description of the video. And if you like it, then please hit the like button on the channel. That's all for this round. Have a nice day and stay healthy. Bye bye.